Desire is powerful. It grabs attention, ignites passion, and fuels obsession. But desire is not love. In the rush of attraction, lust, and longing, it is easy to confuse the two, to mistake fleeting intensity for deep connection. Desire is immediate, love is enduring. Desire is about what you want in the moment. Love is about what you commit to over time. Every day, people chase feelings, physical attraction, or the idea of someone, believing it is love. The truth is harsher. Desire often clouds judgment, distorts priorities, and blinds individuals to reality. It is seductive because it feels urgent, intense, and undeniable, but it rarely builds, nurtures, or sustains. Many heartbreaks, missteps, and failed relationships are rooted in this confusion. In this video, we will explore the subtle but profound differences between desire and love. We'll examine the psychological, emotional, and even physiological patterns that make desire feel like love, and why so many people fall into the trap of mislabeling their emotions. Understanding this distinction is crucial because clarity separates temporary infatuation from enduring connection, and awareness protects the mind and heart from illusions that can cost both time and energy. Desire is a master of deception. It moves quickly, bypassing reason, morality, and long-term judgment. When desire strikes, it feels urgent, inevitable, and irresistible, and the mind, untrained in self-mastery, mistakes its intensity for love. The Machiavellian truth is simple: desire is transactional. It demands, consumes, and tests limits. Love, by contrast, is strategic, measured, deliberate, and enduring. Confusing the two is a trap that keeps many in cycles of emotional vulnerability. Psychologically, desire activates the brain's reward centers. Dopamine surges, adrenaline spikes, and the mind becomes fixated on gratification. This physiological hijack creates a compelling illusion. The intensity of the feeling convinces the individual that it must be love. Stoicism teaches that the mind must not be ruled by fleeting impulses. Yet desire thrives on immediacy, exploiting weaknesses in patience, reason, and self-control. It is designed to seduce, not to sustain. Machiavelli would observe that those who cannot distinguish desire from love are predictable, easily manipulated, and often trapped in patterns of emotional surrender. Desire is not a partner. It is a force that provokes action, tests boundaries, and exposes the unprepared. It thrives on illusion, the image of connection, the fantasy of closeness, and the adrenaline of pursuit. The mind, when untrained, submits willingly, mistaking the heat of the moment for enduring commitment. Desire also thrives on projection. The object of desire is rarely seen as they are. Instead, they become a canvas for fantasies, expectations, and imagined qualities. The more intense the desire, the less likely one is to perceive reality. Love, on the other hand, requires seeing clearly, understanding strengths, weaknesses, and the full complexity of another. Desire seduces by obscuring vision, convincing the individual that temporary intensity equals lasting value. Finally, desire is mercurial and fleeting. It demands attention, yet it does not nurture. It is a storm, not a foundation. Those who confuse desire with love surrender autonomy to a force designed to be compelling, not sustaining. Stoicism teaches detachment from impulses and emotions that compromise reason. Recognizing the difference between desire and love is the first act of mastery, the moment when one ceases to be a victim of their own untrained urges and begins to govern the mind with strategy, clarity, and discipline. Many fall into the trap of mistaking desire for love because of an unexamined emotional need. The human mind craves attachment, validation, and intimacy, and desire exploits this craving with surgical precision. When a person feels incomplete, lonely, or uncertain, desire appears as a solution. It promises closeness, affirmation, and excitement. But desire is a mirage. It feeds the hunger without satisfying it, offering intensity instead of stability. Love, in its truest form, is not about filling gaps but about mutual growth, trust, and measured commitment. From a psychological standpoint, unfulfilled emotional needs act like a vacuum. The brain, seeking relief, latches onto the most immediate source of stimulation, often a person who triggers desire. This mechanism is both powerful and dangerous. The mind equates the rush of attention, attraction, or sexual tension with emotional fulfillment. Stoicism teaches that the wise individual recognizes internal emptiness and does not outsource its resolution to external forces. Yet desire manipulates this weakness, creating the illusion that connection has been achieved. Machiavellian analysis reveals a harsh truth. Those who chase desire as a surrogate for love place their power in the hands of another. They become reactive, compelled by impulses that serve neither their long-term goals nor their emotional stability. The object of desire often has no intention of fulfilling these deeper needs. Their presence merely activates the neural circuits of reward and attachment. Those who fail to recognize this dynamic surrender agency and allow fleeting intensity to dictate decisions that should require deliberate judgment. Genuine connection, by contrast, is strategic and reciprocal. It grows slowly, grounded in observation, honesty, and mutual understanding. Desire masks reality. Emotional need disguises itself as love. One craves presence, attention, and approval, yet what is desired is not the person before them, but the temporary relief of insecurity. Desire thrives in this void, in the gap between what one lacks and the fantasy of fulfillment projected onto another. The danger of conflating desire with love is compounded by repetition. When emotional needs are repeatedly misdirected toward transient desire, the mind learns to associate intensity with fulfillment, reinforcing cycles of attachment to fleeting forces. The untrained individual mistakes chaos for passion and volatility for commitment. Stoicism warns against such surrender. Mastery begins when one discerns between need and connection, understanding that genuine love does not demand, compel, or overwhelm. It stabilizes, nurtures, and sustains. In essence, mistaking desire for love is a form of psychological deception. The mind confuses temporary gratification with lasting bond, immediate stimulation with enduring presence. Awareness of this distinction is the cornerstone of emotional mastery, preventing surrender to forces that promise everything in the moment but deliver nothing in the long term. Desire may feel like love, but only clarity, patience, and observation reveal its true nature. Infatuation is one of the most insidious forces in human emotion. It is desire in its most seductive form, a psychological illusion that convinces the mind it has encountered love. Infatuation thrives on projection, the act of attributing imagined qualities, virtues, and intentions to another person. The object of infatuation is rarely seen as they are. Instead, they become a mirror reflecting fantasies, unfulfilled needs, and the mind's deepest longings. Desire and projection are intertwined, and together they create a potent illusion that masquerades as love. Psychologically, projection is a form of self-deception. The mind fills gaps in perception with idealized images, often ignoring contradictions or warning signs. This is why two individuals can be attracted to each other intensely, yet know very little about each other's true character. Infatuation amplifies this distortion, generating emotional intensity that feels authentic, urgent, and unbreakable. The brain interprets this surge as a signal of love, while in reality, it is the mind's own creation, a manufactured connection based on expectation, fantasy, and desire. Machiavellian insight reveals the danger of projection. It surrenders perception to illusion. When desire dominates judgment, one becomes predictable, reactive, and vulnerable. The projected image holds power over decisions, priorities, and emotional stability. The individual no longer acts from observation or reason but from a constructed narrative of what they hope or believe the other person to be. Infatuation manipulates attention, distorts reality, and compels emotional investment before clarity or discernment is possible. From a Stoic perspective, projection is a breach of self-mastery. To be unshaken in emotion is to perceive others as they are, not as one wishes them to be. Infatuation clouds this clarity, hijacking reasoning with intensity, excitement, and anticipation. The mind mistakes novelty and heightened arousal for compatibility and depth. It is a subtle form of surrender, giving control over one's emotional equilibrium to illusions conjured by desire. Projection also creates dependency. The imagined qualities of the other person become a source of hope, reassurance, and identity. When reality fails to match fantasy, disappointment ensues, reinforcing cycles of emotional instability. The mind learns to chase illusions repeatedly, mistaking the thrill of infatuation for the stability of love. This is why so many are drawn to intensity over substance, excitement over consistency, and fantasy over truth. In the end, infatuation and projection are mechanisms that blur the line between desire and love. They exploit weakness, magnify longing, and disguise temporary fixation as deep connection. Recognizing this pattern is crucial. Clarity and emotional discipline allow one to see the difference between what is imagined and what is real. Without this awareness, desire masquerades as love, projection becomes reality, and the mind surrenders to illusions that bring intensity but not enduring fulfillment. Desire is not love. Infatuation is not commitment. Projection is not understanding. Yet, in the chaos of emotion, these illusions are easily mistaken for the deepest human connection. The danger lies not in feeling, but in surrendering reason to fleeting intensity. Desire promises fire, urgency, and exhilaration, but love endures through observation, patience, and clarity. Confusing the two leaves the mind vulnerable, the heart unsettled, and decisions compromised. The mind is the battlefield where desire and reason clash. Those who fail to distinguish between what they want in the moment and what endures over time are prisoners of their own impulses. Emotional need, amplified by insecurity, creates fertile ground for illusion. Infatuation magnifies this effect, casting the unknown in a glow of imagined perfection. The individual believes they love, yet what they truly chase is a reflection of themselves, their fantasies, fears, and unfulfilled desires projected onto another. From a psychological and Stoic perspective, mastery begins with observation and detachment. Seeing clearly requires awareness, recognizing when intensity is mere desire, when attraction is projection, and when longing masks insecurity. Machiavellian insight warns that surrender to these illusions diminishes agency. Those who govern their emotions, who perceive others as they are, and who resist the seduction of urgency become untouchable. They navigate relationships with clarity, patience, and strategic understanding, unshaken by fleeting impulses. The lesson is stark. Desire without discernment is a trap. Projection without truth is deception. Infatuation without clarity is surrender. Love, in its true form, is deliberate, reciprocal, and grounded in reality. It grows slowly, survives scrutiny, and demands no illusion. Recognizing the difference protects the mind, preserves emotional stability, and prevents the chaos that comes from mistaking intensity for depth. To mistake desire for love is to give power to illusion. To understand desire, projection, and infatuation is to reclaim that power. The stoic and strategic mind does not react to fleeting feelings. It observes, discerns, and waits. In doing so, it remains free, unshaken, and capable of genuine connection, the rare, enduring kind that desire alone can never create.